to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
Just like, I don't know, paying my bills. I don't know what it... Dude, like...
Lamborghini.
Lambo would be
raging on this. It's a tough one. I don't know.
2012 black Honda Civic.
I used to have a Honda Civic, actually.
I did too. That's why I said it.
Yeah. Honda Civics are great.
Civics are the best. I did say the best. I actually saved you enough
it's been
on
a while.
Yeah, it has. And naturally, it's your fault.
I mean, was there any doubt?
No, I don't think we even had any doubt from our audience that it was going to be your fault that we missed an entire week of content.
I feel like 1 week, inevitably, when this happens again, we should just not say a word. That way, the audience can guess. That
no tweets, no Facebook posts,
no tweets, nothing.
No
the
IG
reason
stories.
That we missed an episode, they will all guess in their minds is Jay is probably either in New Jersey or Florida. And I'm telling you right now, there's a 99% chance that that is the correct answer.
No, okay. So we missed Tuesday because you had to work overtime.
Yes.
Which is a shame. I hope you made a little bit extra, though.
Yes, I did. Prior to my Florida trip.
Hey, little disposable income. That's fun.
Of course. Always can use that.
And you can when you're sports betting, too. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's fun because now we missed a whole week of promotions. Shame on us. But
that's on me, DraftKings. Sorry.
But hey, we got 4 teams left and
yes.
2 big championships this weekend.
Gigantic championships.
4 NFL teams, 2 conference champs, and only a few more shots for the road to Super Bowl 57 with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet just $5 and get 200 in free bets instantly, right away. You don't even need, like you just put your $5 down and you automatically get your credit, which is awesome. But hey, that's only if you sign up with the promo code THPN.
Yes.
Obviously, you guys know I'm a big Bengals fan, and I'm so happy from the last game.
I am quite happy. I am quite content.
I will say, I went in and I was like, I want Cincy to win, obviously.
Yeah.
But with everything that we've talked about over the last few weeks with the DeMar Hamlin story over the last month, I would have been fine.
It wouldn't have been the end of the world.
No, like I totally would have been. I would have happily cheered on the Bills.
Yes.
You know? But now we get a rematch with Patty Mahomes and co.
Yes. A hobbled Patty Mahomes, by the way.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
It'll be quite interesting.
To see if he shows up like, a rusted Megatron or if he's just RoboCop. But hey, another fun thing, especially for the divisional round this week. If you're not a new customer, if you're already with us here, you get stepped up same game parlays.
Mm-hmm.
Take your shot at an even bigger payout and boost your winnings. With each leg, you can add up to 100%. So you've mentioned before that you had like a 3-leg parlay in the NHL that you won, right?
Yeah, that was the Capitals and the Blue Jackets. That was a while ago. I had the Capitals money line. I had the over on goals, and I had an Alex Ovechkin anytime goal.
Right.
All those things happened, so I won a good chunk of money on that.
So let's put this into the NFL perspective really quick.
I have one.
Go for it.
So this weekend, my 3-leg parlay, I have the Cincinnati Bengals beating the Kansas City Chiefs,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a Jamar Chase anytime touchdown and a Travis Kelce anytime touchdown.
2 touchdowns and the Cincy win.
It almost seems like a lock. A Jamar Chase touchdown and a Travis Kelce touch, like it just feels like an
Yeah, I mean, because
inevitability
those
in
are
a
the 2
football
main
game.
guys, right? Those are the
Only
2 main
like I
targets.
like usually when you bet on certain guys to score touchdowns, you're like, oh man, I just need this to hit. I feel like the thing that I'm relying on most, like I'm going into the game, like paying attention to most, is just Cincinnati winning.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing, and we could talk about this. Actually, yeah, I could bring this up now.
I won a good deal of money because of your Cincinnati Bengals this weekend.
Well, the funny thing is, we're screwing everybody over.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Why?
we're screwing the whole league over. This is something I took from. I can't remember who exactly had this off the top of my. Well, I Heart Cincy is where I took this from on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
The Cincinnati Bengals are accused of being given an unfair advantage in Sunday's divisional round win against the Bills after playing in heavy snowfall in all white uniforms. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no
it's
wonder
that
they
kind of,
didn't lay
yeah.
a finger on Joe Burrow. They were hitting the snow and they were like,
They
what the
couldn't
hell? Why is
see
he going
anybody.
down? Yeah, wow, that is the take of the century right there.
That's absolutely.
Man, if they were just wearing those black uniforms, we wouldn't have lost by 17 points.
If they were just wearing, their bright orange jerseys with their bright orange helmets. And
Oh, that's where he is. Didn't see him before.
Wow, right?
Um,
And now the neutral site game's all screwed up and they can't do that anymore. What a shame.
Absolute shame. I'm very thankful that they wore those uniforms because the second I saw them wearing those white uniforms, that's when I bet on them to win.
Yeah, and you can too. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code THPN. New customers bet $5 on the conference championships and get 200 in free bets instantly, only at the DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN. Now we're going to get into Kepi Keepers and continue to laugh about the absurdity that is both the riggedness of the NFL and the hilarity of the Columbus Blue Jackets season.
Can I give an honorary NFL Kepi Keeper
Mm-hmm.
for money? So, do you know who
For
Boston
money.
Scott is?
No, I do not.
Boston Scott is the back, like he's the second string running back for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
Okay. And it is an absolute meme. I won money on him this weekend because he has been in the league now for 5 years. This is his 5th year in the NFL. Okay.
Okay.
He has 18 career rushing touchdowns. Okay.
Okay.
11 of them are against the New York Giants.
Wow.
So everybody and their brother was betting on a Boston Scott touchdown against the Giants this weekend because that's who the Eagles were playing.
Holy
And
shit.
he scored. So it's like been a huge meme like these last like a couple of years because I have a bunch of friends who are Giants and Eagles fans.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't believe it worked again. It is
Who
like
would've
the
thought?
equivalent of like what Devils fans were like in the last few years with Oliver Bjorkstrand.
Yeah.
Where every time we went into a game against each other, they're like, okay, we're just hoping like we can get by the Oliver Bjorkstrand goal and find a way to win.
Yeah.
That's literally what it was like. Every time Oliver Bjorkstrand plays the Devils, he scores a goal. Every time
Exactly,
Boston
right?
Scott plays the New York Giants, he scores a touchdown.
Okay, who's your real one going to though?
It's Johnny. I mean, you return to Calgary, couple of assists. He's incredibly aggressive. I want to say he had at least 5 shots on goal. He was all over the play the entire night. You could tell that this game meant a lot to him.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
he was a big factor in them, getting a point out of that game. He had 5 shots on goal, a couple of assists. He was on the ice for almost 23 minutes.
That's more like it, Bradley.
Yeah, I was thrilled with it. He had a great pass from one side of the boards to the other to Patrick Laine. Granted, low percentage shot, even for Patrick Laine, considering the circumstances, but he still finds a way to score.
Well, that's Patrick Laine.
But the first assist to Marchenko was just freaking gorgeous.
Who, by the way, a couple of games ago skated 17 minutes. Can you believe it?
I have a fun stat on Kirill Marchenko.
Yeah.
I was just trying to do averages to how big of a pace guy I am.
Yes.
If he started this season and just stayed at the pace that he's playing on right
if he
now,
played every game?
He in an 82 game season, he'd be on pace for 34 goals.
That a boy.
Funnier though,
that's a hell of a rookie year.
0 assists.
Oh yeah.
Could you imagine an entire season where like he's gonna get an assist eventually, but like could you just imagine a guy playing 82 games and scoring 34 goals and not having a single assist, not even a secondary one?
Not even a fluke like off your skate, like
not even a fluke. I'm just gonna dump the puck in and go for a line change and someone's gonna pick up the puck and score. Like
I know, it's so
it's
crazy. He's such a good kid too. He's loving life. But yeah, yours is going to Johnny Gaudreau. I'm gonna go with Patrick Laine.
Understandable.
And I mean, he added a couple more over the next couple of games, which was great. I know.
He had a goal and 2 assists in Calgary.
Yeah, showing off some playmaking. Showing off some playmaking there, Patty. Love it. But the sniper just, God, that Detroit game was kind of scary.
Yeah, you could just feel like it's a guy who's more than anything, like it's not just confidence in his ability. It's a guy who just looks like he's playing free because he finally feels healthy.
He feels healthy. He can finally I think he finally has this idea of, okay, I'm here. It's time for me to do my thing.
It seems to me like it wasn't instant like everybody thought it would be between him and Johnny. It looks like over these last 5 games, they're starting to figure it out a little bit.
Yeah, they're feeling it now.
And that's a really positive thing. And it's a good thing, not just because, obviously those are 2 big guys for your power play. It looks like they're figuring this out 5-on-5 as well.
5-on-5 is huge. Yeah.
They're starting to get a feel for each other. Just because you're playing with a great player doesn't mean that you're always generally going to click.
It's never an instantaneous thing either.
Sometimes it is, but I mean, it's not.
Sometimes you're Alex Ovechkin and Nicholas Backstrom or Connor and Leon, and sometimes you're Johnny Gaudreau and Patrick Laine. It is just like,
yeah, 100%. And some guys just play better together than other guys. You know what I mean? Like, best comparison that I can make would probably be up in Toronto.
Austin and Mitch and JT and Willie.
Like Austin and Mitch, those are 2 guys. They had that from day one.
Oh yeah,
they stepped on the
and Austin plays well. Like Willie plays well with Austin, but it's nothing like putting 16 with him.
Right, like you put Matthews with Marner. Like the second that dude took a step onto the Maple Leafs ice at practice, his first practice with the Leafs, he already had it with Mitch Marner.
Yeah.
We're on year 4 or 5 of John Tavares, and he's still struggling sometimes to figure this out with William Nylander. And they're both great players.
But then you put Mitch with Johnny, and it's like, whoa.
That's just the thing. Like Mitch is like the ultimate glue guy.
Yeah, and that's part of why I love Mitch Marner.
Yeah, because he's such a good distributor, and he feeds off of other guys' skill sets so well. And
I know we're still in Kepi, so I want to give. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. We're still kind of in Kepi, so I do want to give a shout out. This was a guy that I thought I would, I thought I was going to give this to him, but then I decided, why not give it to Patty? Because this hot streak just broke.
Okay.
But Rosie was on a bit of a heater recently. Jack Roslovic had himself quite a little bit of time over the last little bit. 6 points in the last 5 games. This post was 2 days ago. So this was before Calgary.
Mhm.
A goal and 5 assists and 2 assists at Detroit. So Rosie's found a little bit more of a groove.
Gotta hope that continues. Especially heading into this next month or so.
Excuse me.
because
Sorry.
it'll very much determine his future with the team. But to get
Yeah.
back to Line and Gaudreau, I think Gaudreau works with a lot of guys. It is obvious that he worked well.
I mean,
He worked well with Monahan for so many years. He worked well with Lindholm. He worked well with Kachuk. And, he worked well instantly with Boone Jenner, who I think is an adaptable guy as well.
and Gus
Laine
Nyquist.
is not the most adaptable, but he's
No.
starting to get there.
But that's
And
the
you
thing,
can see
right?
it. He's driving offense more. He's starting to feed off of Gaudreau and Jenner. It looks like a very good line right now.
Mhm.
And I think that's a really good thing moving forward for the Blue Jackets. We obviously know what he can do shooting the puck, and he's fantastic with it. But
His playmaking is growing a lot.
I feel a lot of areas of his game are just growing. He's becoming a more complete player, which he deserves a lot of credit for.
Oh yeah. I mean, again, he's only 24.
Yeah.
So like we gotta remember that, people. He is only 24 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got plenty of time to still like develop. I know we talk about that with Austin too, just to make that comparison, I guess. Austin didn't have to take as much time to turn into that complete player.
Yeah. Laine was the better goal scorer coming into the league. Now Austin is the better goal scorer and more complete player, but Laine is making that adjustment, and it's a big thing for this team moving forward because, as great of a shooter as he is,
Yeah.
It does sometimes put you at a disadvantage if he's a more one-dimensional player. Say if Johnny Gaudreau is out of the lineup, even though he doesn't ever really miss games, but you want to make sure that he can have other elements to his game to kind of carry himself along. And I think we're getting there. And, this is the kind of growth that I want to see from this player.
200%. And now we're going to get into the recaps over the last week. And we've got we'll rapid fire this because there's so many games that we missed.
Yeah.
Game in Detroit. Shout out to our buddy Jeremy. He was there.
That game felt like a fever dream.
I know, it kind of did, didn't it?
I can't think of a better game to define both the Columbus Blue Jackets season as well as the Detroit Red Wings season. In the sense that the Blue Jackets finally play a good game and get a win, but it comes in just the most agonizing way possible.
It's really like the boa constriction of the 3 unanswered goals was
and the Red Wings, just apparently the best third period team of all time when trailing.
Ole Mata and Jake Wallman.
It's funny. I was texting my friend Delaney during
and
that
then
game.
Lucas Raymond, who, Lucas Raymond is a great young player.
Yeah, he's fantastic. But I was texting my friend Delaney while that game was going on because I bet on the Red Wings and I was pissed about my money.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing about the whole, ever since we've been able to use DraftKings now, you've been just insufferable. I am going to actually you have been so insufferable with I'm betting against the team tonight.
Yeah.
It's I get it. Shut up for a minute. I get it. Have some confidence. God damn you.
Why should I have confidence?
I don't know. Jordan did.
So?
And it worked out for him.
Good for Jordan. Good guy. However, they are tied with the Anaheim Ducks.
I know this, but it's you don't have to be the weird.
I choose to be. You know what? I have confidence. I have confidence in the Cincinnati Bengals. You're welcome.
Okay, I'll give you that much.
Yeah.
It's just so.
Yeah. How about that?
But anyways, I was
It's frustrating and funny to me just how insufferable you are with this team, and just the way you're yeah, I bet on them to lose again, and I'm okay.
You're like, it's a smart thing to do. If I bet against them most nights, I'm gonna make money. Anyway, back to the point.
So texting your friend, yes.
I'm texting my friend Delaney, who's a huge Red Wings fan. And we're texting while it's 4-0 Columbus.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, because this is the Blue Jackets and because this is the Red Wings, this feels like for some reason it's going to be close late.
Yeah.
And I was like, whenever the Red Wings finally score the first goal, it's going to be the most obscure player. And me and her at the same time send Jake Wallman.
Well, that's
And
the
he
funny
wasn't
thing.
the first to score, but he did score in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Because Oli was the first to get him on the board. And
Yeah.
it was like, oh.
Which really wasn't even his goal. It was Olivier shooting the puck into his net.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
And that got the ball rolling. And, Jake Wallman scores, Raymond scores, the Blue Jackets close it out. They end up getting a win. Patrick Laine had a hat trick in that game.
Patty from Johnny and Jack, and then Gavi from KJ and Bemmer.
Mm-hmm.
Patty from Jack and Blankenberg, and then Patty from Boakvist and Johnny is how the box score lays us out. And I'm like, this is what we want to see.
Yes.
These are like, you want to see guys like Jack playing well. You want to see Nick continue to do his thing.
God, let me tell you, I am so happy and relieved that dude is back in the lineup.
I love this kid so
I
much.
love him so much.
And it's more than just like the positive vibes that the guy always brings.
Positive vibes, kind of underdog, undrafted kid
Yeah.
who's very undersized, who I don't even think he had a scholarship for Michigan until like later in his career, and then he's the captain and all that. No, he's just a good player.
He's a good player,
and
he is
impactful player.
And he's a happy person.
You can just see
he's just happy to be out there.
This isn't like, two guys, being really happy about this guy and liking what we're seeing from this player. Like, I genuinely mean this 110% when I say this team plays better when he's in the lineup. Yes. And I don't think it's just because, he's an impactful player and an effective player. I think he's already like this is his first full year in the National Hockey League.
He's already established himself as a top four. He's already like established as a top 4 guy.
He's playing top 4 minutes most nights, and he's doing a good job in it.
Yeah.
Like,
hell, could you make the argument top 2?
Well, with all the injuries, yes.
Well,
yes.
But what I'm saying is
factoring in all the injuries.
No, seriously, put
roster
next year. Put him and Zach together and just see magic happen.
I have no issue with
them going into next year and potentially trying out Blankenberg with Werenski for a little bit. Granted, I think ultimately your top 2 is going to be Werenski and Jurček next year. But
that'd be fun too.
Oh no, heavens no! We have to put Blankenberg on the second pair next year.
Oh yeah,
immediately.
Blanks.
We talked earlier about are they going to trade Andrew Peeke? I think if they trade Andrew Peeke, Blankenberg will be
solidified in that spot.
He will be the reason they do it.
Yeah,
because they believe in him moving forward more than they do Andrew Peeke.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's nothing against Peeker.
No,
we played the best,
but this is just a really good player right here.
It's so amazing. Was that No, it was it was a couple of games later. Well, okay, keep it rolling. Yes. 3-1 loss to the Rangers. Zibanejad, Boudreau, Kravtsov making it 3-0, and then Peeker. Shout out to Peeker breaking the shutout.
It genuinely feels like he always scores the most hilarious goals
and garbage time goals, and
yes.
It's like
and it is funny because he has 4 goals this season. 2 of them have come against the Rangers.
Right.
Both of them against Yaroslav Halak.
Oh. The assists to that goal went to Gus Nyquist and Jack. like I said, like we'll be talking about Jack because this is his hot streak, right? Next night was in Nashville after hosting the Rangers. This one
so mad at Matt Duchene.
This one's so frustrating because we got goalied really hard.
By Kevin Lankinen.
By Kevin Lankinen. I thought
it is the most Daniil Tarasov thing of all time. He stopped 26 of 28, which is more than that is a quality start in the National Hockey League. You win the game that your goalie gives you that like 8 or 9 times out of 10, and of course this is the 1 or the 2 that you don't.
Right. Cody Glass and Yakov Trenin scoring, and good on Cody. So, I mean,
good on Cody, good of Yakov Trenin. I was pissed at Matt Duchene. I didn't bet on him to score. I bet on him over 2.5 shots, and he had 2 shots by the end of the first period. So I was like, "Oh, I'm in prime spot." He didn't take a shot for the last 40 minutes.
I think he did it just to spite you.
Ass.
Gus scoring from Bemstrom and Rosie. The only goal there. This one was the one that pissed me off the most.
This one might be good in the long run, but definitely pissed me off.
In the moment, I was so mad at this 5-3 loss to Anaheim.
Because it is just the most CBJ loss of the season.
Both teams with 33 shots, by the way.
Yeah, so the Blue Jackets come out, Matthew Olivier from Robinson and Boakfist. And Boakfist has been playing well. I've been happy.
Yeah, I'm happy that Boki's at least like starting to find his groove again, right?
Jack Roslovic makes 2-0 unassisted. And then the best sequence of the season, Nick Blankenberg just freaking buries Isaac Lundstrom.
This was bench. That one, right? Yes.
And then less than like
the bench reaction was the best thing in the world.
Snipes and makes it 3-0 in the same shift.
The bench reaction from the hit was the best. Look on KJ.
Took me out.
It was so good.
How do you lose that game after that happens?
You have that somewhere? Can you pull that up on the screen? Can you like show people?
Yeah, I'll try and find it. I know like the legal lead is the worst lead in hockey and whatnot.
How does that sequence happen and you don't just blow them the hell out from there?
I know. How do you not just like after dumping a guy into his own bench?
That just I was astounded by
taking off and like wow. KJ pulling like a ghost face, right?
Yes.
Just like in awe of this hit from his teammate since college. And Lars was hilarious too because he just barely reacted. Yeah, I don't think he was even looking.
Okay.
Larson missed that hit. Brad Larson missed that hit.
I gotta find this.
It's just so funny. Oh, man.
I found the video. I'm trying to find like the still image of his face.
I think you might be able to find it from Jeremy and Laura somewhere. If you just look at their Twitter. But like that was a huge sequence. Biggest goal like of the game. Because you're like, okay, now we can put this away. Right? Because that hit probably gave the bench enough confidence to do something, to just keep chugging along. And then 5 unanswered. Henrique, Fowler, Benoit. Seriously?
Simon Benoit.
Simon Benoit ties it.
Yeah, that I don't know.
And then Trevor Zegras, excuse me. Okay. Trevor Zegras, of course, because he's Trevor Zegras. And Max Jones. Olivier got 3rd star in that.
Well, congratulations to him.
Yeah.
Blankenberg was robbed.
Blanks was absolutely robbed. So that just it's so frustrating. Because as soon as it was tied, I was like, Cool. I just slumped and I went, cool.
Yeah, I can't find the still image.
Can't find it.
If you want to look up just look up Nick Blankenberg. The hits everywhere, so just do that.
Yeah, just go look that up and look for KJ's face because it is the best face of any bench player I've ever seen react to a hit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the win against the Sharks. This was weird. This game was
very back and forth game.
This was really weird. And I have somewhere. Let me see here. Find this here.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Okay. Tweet from Mark. 18,807.
Yes. Yeah.
The next time anyone asks about Columbus being a hockey town, read them that number. Standing room only sellout against the Sharks.
Yeah, it's not even like, oh, the Penguins were coming to town, the Leafs, Blackhawks, whatever, like some of the popular teams.
Two teams near the bottom and at the bottom of the standings.
And a team that's all the way out in California that had no fans travel. Because it's San Jose. Like, why would you travel all the way to Columbus to watch the Sharks in the midst of a bad year play the Blue Jackets, right?
Yeah.
No, that was just a genuine sellout. People in Columbus went
huge
to see the Blue Jackets in the middle of being the worst team in the National Hockey League. Hey, they were rewarded. Huge. They were rewarded. They saw a win, and they saw just a good hockey game. My cousin Allie went to the game, and she's not a hockey fan. It was her first Blue Jackets game.
Really? I think that was my friend Onyx's first too. Yeah, because I saw her posting about it.
I was down at Disney and I just get a Snapchat from her, and it's just like from the upper deck, just watching the game.
Yeah, I saw some.
Like, this is fun. I like this, and I'm like,
I saw some Instagram posts from Onyx, and she was just like, "Yeah, go Jackets, let's do this." And it was a big win.
Yeah, it was
huge,
fun. And that's good. I know the team's not very good right now. I've had so many like casual fans kind of from the Cleveland area who don't like really follow like closely, who always ask me questions and stuff. I had like maybe like 2 or 3 in the last week or so text me and be like, should I be worried? Are we in a bad direction here? Like,
is this
optimism?
Is this a bad year? I could give you plenty of the reasons for optimism, guys. This guy, hell no. I'm not going to trust Jay to give you any optimism whatsoever.
Oh, no. I've got a ton of optimism.
Do you?
But about the future.
I was going to say, do you? I think your wallet does.
I actually, to my buddy Justin, this was 2 days ago, gave him a list of 10 reasons to be optimistic. 10. I came up with 10 reasons.
Wow. Look at you. There's a first time for everything.
That. Yeah.
There's a first time for everything.
And they're good reasons too.
I'm just looking at the box score. This is freaking crazy. Timo, Bonino, Gaudreau, Boone from KJ and Nyquist.
Yep.
Sturm,
Liney.
Patty, from Rosie and Johnny. Rosie continues to heat up.
Nyquist from KJ.
Crowley from Blanks and Peak.
It's really nice to see 2 former Sharks find the back of the net against the Sharks.
Kind of, yeah, isn't it?
I know that Sean Corelli never played a game with the Sharks, but he was drafted by them.
I know, yeah, that's the funny thing. And then obviously we had the game last night. Well, 2 nights ago.
You want optimism from me? That game felt like a win to me. I was not at all upset about that game. I was very satisfied with that.
Yeah.
Johnny was all over the place.
As he should have been.
Unbelievable goaltending from Jonas.
It's funny because Jonas has turned into the better one out of all 3 of them.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah.
And it's nice that like there are points where he'll get goal support. I would hope that he gets goal support.
And then there's nights where he just gets none.
It's just like because
908 this year
908. Hey, we'll take it.
on this team. God, absolutely.
Yeah, and that was a game where you got outshot 49-25.
He's phenomenal. And you can make the argument that the last goal shouldn't have happened. There are two potential things that could have been called. Didn't get called. They go back the other way 2-on-1.
Yeah, the Dubé goal is like,
Yeah.
But that's a conversation we've had so many times.
Yeah.
The officiating discussion and just how god awful it is this year.
Yeah.
Right.
Across the board, this league, it's got a officiating problem.
They don't know what the regular penalties are anymore.
Yeah.
They just don't know what to look for. It's like, wow. Walker Dewar, eh?
Walker Dewar from Minnesota State.
Walker Dewar second from Weeks.
I was so pissed when he scored.
I know. It's
because
like,
I almost bet on him to score because I saw his odds and I was like, God, if I even threw just $5 on this,
that would have been a big,
like,
yeah.
Why didn't I just do it?
Yeah. And then our boy Nas.
Yeah.
Hi, Nas. Who wanted to come with Johnny to Columbus.
I thought I read a report that he had offers from us in Calgary and just chose Calgary.
I mean, yeah. I just think they probably had like a little bit, like a slighter better offer.
I'd imagine.
Slightly better offer, probably.
Yeah.
But like, could you imagine Nas and Johnny like being able to land both of those guys?
I mean, it would change the dynamic of the team significantly. You know what? And you want to know why I like that move would have been so great? Because if you sign Nazem Kadri to that deal, that means you don't have Erica Branson.
Yeah, that too. That helps.
That is not only addition by addition, but it's addition by addition and subtraction.
Imagine a top line of Gaudreau, Kadri, Line. Like, oh, just God, what could have been, right?
Mm-hmm.
Marchenko gets us on the board. Patty ties it. Marchie from Johnny and Patty from Johnny and Boki.
Yep.
Good. Really, I like all these goal stat lines from across this whole week slate of games.
Yeah.
Because it's guys that you want to see getting on the score sheet.
Yeah. A lot of guys are contributing the way that you'd hope.
Yeah.
It's been big. I'm satisfied with that.
Manjapani answers from Backlund and Coleman, and then Boone ties the game in the third period from Patrick and Goodbranson.
Eric Goodbranson got a point. I didn't catch that.
He did. He got
so
credited with
funny.
his 8th assist of the season.
I did find it funny reading Mark's tweet because I didn't get a chance to watch the game last night. I was
no.
so tired. But I did find it funny that like they showed Goodbranson on the score and like everybody went nuts for him after booing Johnny so much. And it reminded me of when PLD returned to Columbus the first time and they were booing him like during the video tribute, and then the camera like panned over to Riley Nash and everybody started screaming
for Riley. Oh,
yeah. It's such a funny moment.
I mean, Riley Nash was awesome here.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, he was.
Yeah, he filled his role well. I liked him.
I'm just gonna try to look at this really quick. So Goody has 1 goal and 8 assists so far this year.
Wow. What a man.
And you told me this is the worst part of this. He's a -20. Wow. That has to be the worst plus minus on the team, right?
I think there's one worse.
You
I
think
don't
there's
know who
one
it
worse?
is.
Can you
There's got to be someone on this roster with a worse
see
plus minus than him.
view leaders, skaters? Oh, that's just everybody.
Oh, I was close. No, he's not.
No, who's got the worst?
It is Goodbranson.
Oh, it is Goody.
The
Okay,
second worst is Corrali,
what's Sean's?
minus 19.
Okay,
Okay, are you ready for a stat line here?
huh?
27 games played,
Yeah.
no goals, 3 assists, minus 16.
Oh,
Liam Foodie.
I don't understand why Brad has so much praise for this kid. I still don't.
It is funny the turnaround that we've had in the last several months, where it went from like at the beginning of the year, just give the guy a chance. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
burying him in the
yeah.
minors? And he's played like 25 games this year, and we're like, I never want to see him play again.
Yeah, well, because you play him 16 minutes when he shouldn't be.
Oh my God. Yeah, they're playing him too much. Dude, he's played 54 career games in the National Hockey League, and he has not scored a goal.
No, he still hasn't.
Like, I know he scored that one goal in the bubble against Toronto, but good God. 54 regular season games in the National Hockey League, and you haven't had a goal accidentally go off your ass or anything like that.
I don't know.
That is like unbelievable.
He's the most just like, because he's an 18th overall pick, so you're thinking like, okay,
You're hoping
hopefully
there's upside.
hopefully
like
there's
I said,
something.
I've tempered my expectations because we got Cylinder and we got
Yeah.
KJ and whatnot, and I was like, he doesn't have to be a top 6 guy.
And
Like,
Marchenko.
if he's just a bottom 6 center, that's great. No, this guy is he's not an NHL player.
He's not an option.
all.
He's not an option.
Yes.
It's a shame. It's
It
such
is
a shame. It's
Just
such a shame.
an absolute whiff.
I loved the pick.
I liked it at the time. I saw a guy who's, speedy, who can hopefully, one day kill penalties and
Yeah.
just be a good two-way player. And good Lord, he is just an absolute non-option.
Ugh. Now I will say, to polish off the actual like game slate, Matt had himself a time.
Good.
Matt Olivier having himself a time fighting Luch. That was fun.
Yeah.
It's a really good scrap too.
Yeah. That fourth line has done just enough over these last few games to
As a
ensure
fourth
that
line.
they have done just enough in these last few games to ensure that they will never be broken up for the rest of the season.
But they're also being played as a fourth line.
Yeah.
They're finally starting to play Marchenko on the top 6. Oh my God, what a concept.
Scary that we said the same thing.
At the same time.
I was texting my buddy Bryant earlier today.
The audition with Johnny and just wow.
What?
The audition on the top line with Johnny, just wow.
So I was texting my buddy Bryant. This was probably a little over an hour ago. And it just reminded me of us. Okay. And let me tell you why it reminded me of us. Because sometimes we share a brain.
There's a brain cell moment, yeah.
Me and Bryant do all the time. He's a big Boston sports fan.
Right.
So,
this Bryant, yeah.
Yes. I texted him just out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I just said, I'm sorry. I'm sure you're really sad. And he instantly knew that I was talking about the Red Sox DFAing Matt Barnes.
Oh,
which he's not sad about. It was total sarcasm. He hates Matt Barnes.
So sure, fair. So he's just like, all right.
I didn't allude to anything. There's no context to it. He instantly knew what I was referring to.
Right. Jeez.
And that's us all the time.
I'm glad we had that kind of moment. That's really special. So just to preview the next few games, tonight when this goes up, we'll be playing Edmonton in Edmonton. Mm-hmm. So fun.
Against Connor McDavid.
Connor McDavid and his band of merry men.
Leon Draisaitl.
Zach Hyman. And
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
I think Evander Kane might be back.
Stuart Skinner.
Unless they start Jack Campbell.
I would prefer they start Stuart Skinner.
I would think that might be the wiser choice.
I'm sure Oilers fans would also prefer that they start Stuart Skinner.
Holloway, Yamo,
man.
Friggin' just that whole band of merry men is crazy. But I mean, so
Notice how we did not name a single defenseman.
exactly right.
Evan Bouchard, I guess.
Sure. We'll give Evan some cookies. I want to read this though really quick because this is just hilarious to me.
Yes.
So Connor leads in everything because of course he does.
Oh God. Yeah.
Of course he does.
Yes.
48 games played.
Mm-hmm.
40 goals.
Yes.
48 assists for 88 points.
Yes.
He could have no goals and still be a point a game player.
Okay.
That's goofy. And the goofiest part to me, +2.
I'm sorry. What? I'm gonna need you to repeat that.
Do you want me to repeat that? Connor McDavid, 48 games played, 40 goals, 48 assists for 88 points. Right?
Mm-hmm.
+2.
I
Let
want
you
to read
digest
something
that for
off
a
to you
minute. Yeah,
that
yeah.
I find quite hilarious. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So he's on pace for 150 points.
Yeah, he's on pace for the best season since Steve Yzerman.
And that's in an 82 game season. Okay.
Yeah, he's on pace for like 153 points. It's ridiculous.
There is a player who was on pace for 140 points in, granted, only 57 games.
Okay.
And that would be Connor Bedard. In juniors, is putting up absurd numbers.
Yeah.
That are only just slightly better
than what Connor's
a guy
doing now.
is doing in the National Hockey League. What the hell?
These guys aren't human.
40 goals and 48 assists in 48 games is that is a stat line you see in like the WHL from a top prospect. That's doing this in the National Hockey League.
That's what you could put up in like rookie mode, be a pro.
Dude, he's gonna have a better season than I've had in be a pro mode for some of my seasons.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's ridiculous. And then so tonight, Wednesday night, is Edmonton, and then Friday we're in Vancouver where we'll face Bo Horvat.
Mm-hmm. I want to make this very clear real quick about Connor McDavid, okay?
Yeah, and I'm going to read the leaders just to get us out of this and summarize
this. And this time, this is one of the leaders that I'm going to refer to real quick, so let me do it, okay? He is 15 points ahead of second place.
Yeah.
Which is his teammate, Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah.
And Leon Draisaitl is 7 points ahead of the guy who's behind him in third, who is
that Nuge?
Kucherov.
Oh, that's Cooch.
In the league.
In the league. I thought you just meant on the Oilers. I was like, that would have been, well.
And McDavid is 23 points ahead of the fourth place guy in the National Hockey League, David Pastrnak.
Oh my God.
Is almost certainly guaranteed.
Pasta's having a monster year.
He is almost certainly guaranteed to make well over $10 million this year.
He probably
is nowhere close to McDavid.
Probably guarantee like at least 11.
He's so good. It's ridiculous.
And Connor is like he's in another stratosphere from anybody. Like it's just that goofy, right?
Yes.
It's that ridiculous. Anyway, okay. So Vancouver's on Friday. Bo Horvat leads the team in goals with 30 in 46 games. He's also only a +1. So if you go ahead and laugh at the plus minuses all you want. And we'll talk about the Canucks later because God, we have some things to say. Quinn Hughes leads in assists with 38 assists in 42 games. He's actually a point a game player. Good on Quinny. And leading in points is Elias Pettersson. He's got 54 points in 44 games.
Yeah.
Good on Petey. Patrick actually leads. Okay. Wow. 46 points in 47 games for Johnny. He's heating back up. Good for him.
He's eating, baby.
And then we close the road trip Saturday in Seattle. Leading the team in goals for the Kraken, 43 games, 22 goals for Jared McCann.
Mm-hmm.
And then Burakovsky leads in assists with 25 in 45 games, and Bura leads in points with 38 points in 45 games.
Yeah.
So that's the Western Canadian and Pacific Coast swing for the Blue Jackets, and I can absolutely see an 0-for-4 trip. Or 0-3-1 at this rate.
And you're calling me pessimistic.
I mean,
and I also see 0-4.
Well, we got to have expectations, right?
Yeah.
It's January. We kind of know where we're at now.
Yeah.
So we're going to switch gears and we're going to get into some tough stuff. And this is important for us to touch on. We're not going to go too detailed into it, but it's important to us because it's related to what we do in a way.
Yeah. In general.
In general. Because like I went to school for media. You went to school for journalism.
Yes.
It's related in a way to both of our fields.
100%.
Vox Media Group and SB Nation cut and laid off employees and websites for 26 websites.
Yeah.
Of like 34 hockey websites that they ran.
A lot of people laid off by this. I initially saw it from Steph Driver in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Very prominent voice there. I was very surprised by it because I'm not like terribly familiar with the company.
I saw it from our boys at the Cannon. They're going to be affected by this. All of our friends, the men, the women, the non-binary friends, all at the Cannon.
It's horrible because it blindsided a lot of people.
Yeah. There was no inkling that this was going to happen.
A lot of people who worked their asses off and weren't really getting paid well enough to begin with, from what I was hearing from people. Really, really unfortunate. I'm wishing all the people the best of luck.
It's a shame because it's their SB Nation branch of stuff.
Yeah.
SB Nation is a huge, huge blog.
Yes.
I mean, look at what the actual like secret base stuff is doing on YouTube and their stuff.
Yeah.
They're gigantic.
Yeah.
And the SB Nation blog sites like the Cannon were huge for us to read.
Yes.
They gave a lot of people a gateway into writing about the sport.
Yes. Yeah.
Easily accessible to write for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It sucks. It's really unfortunate. It's unfair. And I'm wishing these people the best of luck moving forward. You know, this is a very, very tough industry with, it's a very competitive industry. And I want to see people succeed and be able to land on their feet successfully because, it's not easy. It's a very unforgiving kind of business,
I'm worried about it for someone like you because that's exactly what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like you've done your stuff with the Buttes, through school, but that's really it so far, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm trying to do some internships this summer. I'm actually thinking about going into baseball.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's so sad to see like just hordes of people and websites and content go like that.
Yeah.
And I know, speaking of, because they're going to stick around. A lot of these websites are going to stick around.
Yeah.
It's just now they're kind of in a limbo.
Right.
I don't know what the Cannon's going to do.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I have no idea what they're going to do. I heard from the people that run the Ice Garden. I read a couple of tweets from them. which is the Ice Garden is the women's hockey blog.
Mm-hmm.
Huge, like their stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
They're looking towards going independent. They're like taking steps to like build their own website and things like that.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. So just everybody who's affected by this, because you got to remember what I said earlier. It's 26 websites of like 34.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of people who contribute to that.
Yeah. We wish them all the best. And, now it's just like for people that are trying to get into sports media, I know there are friends of mine on Discord that are a part of that. That just cuts out any chance of like, well, I don't want to work for this company now.
Right.
Because there's a big chance that they just won't take me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's difficult.
It's really strange too, coming from a big company like Vox like that, because that's their bread and butter.
Yeah, because I don't know like the ins and outs of the financials and whatnot, and why a decision like this comes about.
To make a mass layoff like that, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a mass layoff.
Especially when it's like a huge part of what drives clicks to your company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just don't get it. It makes no sense to me.
Someone's gonna have to answer for it, hopefully soon rather than later.
With their job. Right? Probably, yeah. But yeah, all of our friends at the Cannon, the Ice Garden, and all the other sites that are, kind of trying to float around there and drift and make their way again. We wish you all the best out there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Definitely going to be, keeping up and reading Canon stuff and sharing Canon stuff and, keeping them around because they're really, really special and good at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's another tough one that came from Broad Street.
Yes.
The Ivan Provorov situation.
Yeah.
Can you contextualize this? Because, I don't even know how to start this.
This is probably going to be the most difficult subject to touch on today, which is strange because
here, I'll start with this. Message from the SDPN Discord in the hockey lobby that I took before we started this.
Yeah.
Gary Bettman at a press conference today.
Yes.
On Tuesday. Points to take away from this, and I'm going to shout out Rogie because he's a Bruins and Ducks fan that is it's really prominent in the server, and he's a good dude. He's all the way in Glasgow. He lives in Glasgow.
Wow.
Good guy. Bettman press conference. Doesn't believe teams are tanking, so clearly he doesn't watch the product.
Okay.
All right. He has no issues with how the Canucks handled Bruce's exit. We'll get to Bruce later.
Yeah.
Logan Mailloux, door not closed there fully.
I'm not surprised by that.
I'm not either, but it's just okay, when is more going to happen? When are we going to touch on more?
I mean, I guess, feel like that's a can that they're going to kick down the line.
Probably. No expansion for now, which that makes sense.
Yeah, you're at 32. I'm not sure.
Why wouldn't you just stick with the 32 for now?
Yeah.
Unless you're really, really hurting, right?
Right.
And then the one that's relevant for this, he has no issues with Provorov. He was very pointed about this one when pushed on it.
Do we know what he said?
I don't. I didn't get to watch any of
it.
Okay. And then I love how he ended this because he's talking about our buddy Robert Malloy. Is there like any scope for a coup and we can just make Robert the head of the NHL? I mean, he's not wrong. In a sense, he's not wrong.
NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman on Flyers, Ivan Provorov. At the end of the day, I think everyone knows what the league stands for in terms of our values, what the Flyers stand for in terms of their values. But in the final analysis, individual players are going to make decisions and follow their beliefs. Having said that, when you look at all of our players and the commitments that they've made to social causes and to make sure our game is welcoming and inclusive, let's focus on the 700 that embrace it and not one or two that may have issues for their own personal reasons.
So the incident itself. The Flyers were hosting Pride Night.
Yes, as so many teams in the league do. I believe every team does, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Just about, if not every team does it. Which basically, you know, every team has contractual obligations to do, like the military nights and the Pride nights and all. Like that's just a thing that these teams do.
Yes.
To do these promotional nights.
Yeah, promos are important for all sports.
Pride night's a big one, though.
It is
especially in this league.
Yes.
Because currently in the NHL, we don't have any players in the NHL league right now
who are openly,
you know,
a part of the LGBTQ community, right?
Yes. We do have one prospect that we know of.
Luke Prokop.
Draft pick of the Predators.
Yes.
And when his story broke, it was huge and widely accepted and right? We loved that he did this.
Yes.
And everybody embraces him still. And I don't want to call him like a poster child for it.
Right.
But in a way, he kind of is. Hopefully that pushes for more. I don't want to slap his face on a poster, like literally, and make that a thing. But it was a big step towards actually trying to believe that hockey is for everyone. This was a big step back.
Major one.
Because Ivan Provorov decided to not take part in this warm-up where you wear the Pride jersey. And it's only for warm-ups. Usually those promos are only during warm-ups, and then you can sell like the game-worn warm-up jerseys or whatever. Yeah. Right? Like that's just how the whole thing functions.
Yes.
Provorov wasn't there.
Yeah. And it was, I remember it because initially, I have friends who are Flyers fans, and when he was not a part of warmups, it wasn't a speculation of, does he have an issue? It was, are they keeping him out because they might be trading him?
Yeah, because he's actually like
he's a potential trade target.
Yeah, he's part of the trade targets this year. So at first, everybody thought it was a trade speculation thing.
Yes.
Then we find out later. Was it through John Tortorella or was it through his own words?
I'm not sure where we first heard of it. All I know is it was confirmed well after the game, and it was confirmed by Provorov when he was asked about it. It was confirmed by Tortorella. It was confirmed by a lot of other people that was the reason. And it is important to note, Provorov cited his religious beliefs as to why he did not want to partake in it.
Right, but he still played the game.
Yes.
Is what the majority of people are taking the issue with.
This has been a very, very difficult position for me. I'm not going to lie to you. And the reason that it is so difficult is because, generally speaking, as like I've talked to so many people about it, and there's some people on one side, there's a lot of people on another side, and having gotten the perspective from everyone. I just leave confused about so many elements of it.
Yes. Now, let me mention this. Russian Orthodox is, is Provorov's religion. That's what he cited as his reasoning.
Yes.
And Torts came out and said, like, I don't have issues with it. Like, there are a lot of people taking Provorov's side with this.
Yes.
But if you want to promote the message of hockey is for everyone, that is actually really close to what the Flyers do. The You Can Play stuff, the Pride stuff, that's really, really close to them because the Burke family is involved in that with the Flyers.
Yeah, and JVR and Scott Lawton have put a lot of effort into it. I want to say that they were they brought in like 50 people from the community.
Yes.
For the game and whatnot, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And it's like none of that gets talked about.
It's just so frustrating for people, like, obviously, friends of mine who want to get into this sport and enjoy, at the very least, they enjoy it at the college level.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of my friends from college who are in that spectrum of people, we loved going to those hockey games.
Yeah.
And this just really slams the door in their faces.
I think that's kind of the takeaway that I've had from this. I want to address multiple things that have been brought up and try to articulate this the best that I can. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I'm not 100% sure that the precedent of not playing a player because they didn't partake in this is the best, because it is a player's right not to do it. I understand that side of it. Okay. That is something that people have brought up.
Mm-hmm.
The problem I have with it, specifically with torts, is you remember back to 2016
when the kneeling thing, right?
And he said, if you kneel, which really was not really a concern for the United States hockey team. Was there really anybody on that team that was going to do it? I don't know. But he said, if there's anyone who, because it wasn't even kneeling at that point. It initially started with Kaepernick sitting before he started kneeling when he met with the Green Beret. His exact quote was, if you sit on the bench during the anthem, you will sit there the rest of the night. So I don't know. That was 6 years ago. Has his opinion changed? Is it a matter of one doesn't match up with my beliefs, and this one might? I know that the military stuff like that is very important to him.
Yes.
His son is fighting for us right now, which is great, but there is a deal of hypocrisy there. And that is something that I do take issue with. On the other hand, I understand that there are people who disagree with that life choice. Personally, I don't have a problem with it. And I don't think people should have a problem with it, right?
Yeah, no, I was always brought up to, be accepted as long as you accept others, as long as you are accepted. Treat others the way you want to be treated. That whole rhetoric, right?
Accept good people, right? But there are
for good people. Yeah,
there are people who don't accept people from that community for whatever reason, whether it be religious or just personal beliefs. Those people exist. That is just a fact. Those people will always exist. That's just how it is. Okay. I understand that. But the whole purpose of a pride night, like a military night, like a
is
fan
to
appreciation,
celebrate that group of people.
It's to celebrate that group of people and to make them feel welcome, and especially them, a group of people who have historically not been welcomed into this sport. You want to talk about growing the game. This is how you do it.
Yes.
It's not just about growing it overseas and, growing it in different places, bringing hockey to the desert and to Vegas and Seattle. No, you bring it to different communities. And
Yes.
this is a way that you can do it. And I understand that Provorov, due to his religious beliefs, he has his feelings. But
Mhm.
there are other people who belong to that religion and other religions that share the same sentiment about that community and that lifestyle choice, who had no problems wearing the jersey. And that's where my issue comes in, is the second that you decide to do that. Jake, warm-ups is different for everyone
Oh
because
yeah.
you don't have to be on there for the whole entire time. You could go on for 12 minutes and leave, and that's it. That's it.
You warm up for as long as you feel like you need
Notice.
to.
You put on the jersey to make people feel welcome, first of all, and second of all, to not put yourself above the team.
Provorov put himself above the team.
Think about that game. Kevin Hayes had a hat trick.
Oh,
Samuel Ersson had another win. He started
awesome. It was awesome for those guys.
5-0. Morgan Frost had a sick between the legs goal.
Yeah, he did.
Ristolainen is playing the best hockey he has played in 3 years. The Flyers are playing their best hockey in months.
Yeah. That was a big game and a big night for that team.
And it was a pride night, a night that's supposed to celebrate people. And what were we talking about? None of it. We weren't talking about what Scott Lawton and JVR did. We're not talking about how much money that these jerseys that they sell raised. We're not talking about the actual game and the things that happened in it. We're talking about a guy who didn't partake in warm-ups. And what upsets me the most about it is two things. The other reason that it's important to partake in it is because, as someone who is on Twitter frequently, you see just deplorable things from people, just about everywhere, right? Like
all the time,
always,
all the time.
I've seen sexism, racism,
Mm-hmm.
Homophobia in the hockey community before.
Xenophobia, a lot.
We understand that exists. It's always going to exist on Twitter, especially, but it's
always
in just about every community, because there are people who are like that, right? But I have never seen homophobia quite as large as I have seen this last week. All the homophobes have come out the woodwork
because they had one guy. Because they had one guy open the door to give them platform for it.
Ivan Provorov's jersey sold out on Fanatics.
Yeah, it's gone.
Ivan Provorov, a defenseman on a bad hockey team,
who's not doing well personally this year.
Yes, hasn't been playing well for years, might not be with the team in a few months, and his jersey sold out because of this. And it just sickens me. It sickens me because the thing that we need
for one thing, let's say this. For one thing, they may not have had a lot of them in the first place.
Right.
Because think about it.
I mean, how many of these things do you have pre-made, right?
Yeah.
But what upsets me about this is what was supposed to just be a normal night.
Supposed to celebrate these people.
To celebrate them, to make them feel welcomed. I mean, just imagine this, okay?
And like I've said, I have plenty of friends that are in this community that I've never taken issue with anybody.
We talked about two people who we know who went to their first hockey game for the Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
One is my cousin, and one is your friend, right?
Oh, yes. Earlier in the show, yes.
So, okay. I'd imagine in an arena that sits well over 18,000, I believe, that there were several people who were there, who are part of that community, who were attending their first National Hockey League game.
Yeah.
What incentive do they have to come back?
I'm less than zero.
Yeah.
Less than zero.
What incentive do you have as a fan who's a part of that community, who's been watching hockey for a while and has been a fan of it, to go back to the arena?
I would hope.
This is how you get fans to watch from afar.
I would hope that the majority of the group of people within the community that were there for the Pride Night were more so there, celebrating because of what JVR
I hope so.
and Lawton did and want to come back because of them.
What they did was phenomenal. And what a lot of other these guys did was phenomenal. My buddy Drew had a really funny tweet.
Yeah.
I don't know, you may have seen it. It was
maybe
like, how in the world are you the guy who does this on a team with Tony DeAngelo?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How do you make Tony DeAngelo look like the better person?
Tweets.
Like, whoa.
Blew up.
Oh yeah, it did.
Oh my god, it was hilarious.
How do you make Tony DeAngelo look like the better person in anything? You do this. Ugh.
He has 4,699 likes on that tweet. It has been seen over 272,000 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
First of all, the view counts thing on Twitter is hilarious to me. Still,
it is quite funny. But yeah, no, for real.
But that's How do we put a bow on this?
This is the way you put a bow on it. Tony DeAngelo, and I have given him credit in the sense that he has not gotten into really any trouble these last 2 years. He's kept his mouth shut.
Mm-hmm. He's just gone out and done hockey things, and he's done them well.
Matured a little bit, but
hope so.
I don't know his exact thoughts on that.
No.
I get the sense he might have thoughts that are relatively similar to Ivan Provorov, but he had no problem wearing the jersey. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he accepts that community. Maybe there's a maturity on his end. Maybe he does accept that community. But it should tell you everything you need to know. If you had told me, DraftKings, if you had asked me, there is one player who is not going to wear a Pride jersey in warm-ups tonight, who are you putting your money on for the Philadelphia Flyers? I assure you it would have been him. And he had no problem doing it.
Man.
Neither did any of the other guys. And this is the other
You're
thing.
also, here's the thing though, too. Here's another thing. You're basically contractually obligated to do this.
Yes. So they had
it's in your contract clauses to participate in all of these nights.
He was essentially given permission not to, but he had to meet with them a week prior to this. So this wasn't a last second thing. This was pre-planned. This is how I want to end this. Check out what JVR and Scott Lawton did.
Yes.
Pay attention to that.
Absolutely.
It's very important. And we need more of it in the sport. And there are a lot of guys who are like that, who do a lot of work with that, who are fantastic people.
Max did it for us when he was with us.
They should be the story.
Max did it for us when he was with us.
Yeah.
And Max was huge when he did that.
There are a lot of guys who feel that way. Who
want to support and find ways to help that because they understand that that's how you grow the game.
And we do too. We're 200% in line with that. All right. All right. Enough on Pro V, I guess. And whatever. We'll see where he ends up if he goes anywhere.
Yeah.
He'll go to Arizona.
Yeah.
Rashin Gostisbehere.
Rashin Gostisbehere. Quick contract I want to talk about. Minnesota locking up a young dude. Matt Boldy getting a 7x7.
Wow. What a deal. It is at this moment in time an overpay, but it is one of those deals where you sign a guy as early as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Because you are certain he is going to blossom and that contract's going to be a steal.
Well,
and I agree with them. I think it's going to be an absolute steal. I think that this is the contract that the Buffalo Sabres should highly consider giving to Dylan Cousins.
You think so, huh?
Yes. I really like these two players. I think they're going to blossom, continue to blossom and become great players. I'm very excited about the future for Matt Boldy, especially continuing to stay with the Minnesota Wild. Getting to see him play with Kirill Kaprizov for the next 7 to 8 years is going to be phenomenal. So it's a good deal. I really like this.
Very quick backtrack. JVR scored.
Nice.
Good on JVR. But yeah, I love this deal for Matt Boldy. He's already shown signs of just being electric.
Like he's already shown you he is a legitimate top 6 forward, but I think in due time, like probably within he will show he is a first line guy. He
works so well with Eriksson Ek.
Yeah. I think we have discovered in these last few years that just about everyone does.
With Eriksson Ek,
so underrated because
Eki is so good. Yeah.
Kirill Kaprizov is so phenomenal.
He's just a game changer.
Unbelievable that Joel Eriksson Ek is.
Eki is just so much fun to watch out there.
Yeah.
Like you think of guys that are fun to watch on the Minnesota Wild. Obviously, you're defaulting to Kaprizov, right?
Yeah.
Like no doubt about it. He's just
Boldy too, because Boldy's slick as hell.
Yeah, Boldy's like really slippery.
Yeah.
With his stick possession.
Zuccarello too.
Zuccarello has turned back the clock.
A little bit of an ageless wonder.
He's really. I love what Zook's doing. Marcus Foligno doing his thing.
Yeah,
but
we
Joel love Marcus.
Man is just a phenomenal player, and so is Matt Boldy. Good. That is their core. Those are your top 3 guys: Joel Eriksson, Kirill Kaprizov, and Matt Boldy.
I think the thing that GMs are starting to look at now, and I hope this works out for Minnesota, especially with the cap crunch under the buyouts.
Yep.
Right. We'll see how Guerin addresses that part of it. What you're doing now is you're not paying players like pre-cap, right? You paid players based off of what they did that year, what they're doing right now.
What they have done so far. What have you done for me lately? It's very much a what have you done for me lately league. That's how a lot of these guys are getting paid. And I think over the last few years,
we're switching to what will you do for me?
And we see it and because we've seen it work out so well. The Nico Hischier contract and the Jack Hughes contract. Are you freaking kidding me? You're telling me for the next 7 years, you're going to have both of those guys locked up. Both of them. Your first and second line, both stars. One who's a captain and the other who is your star. You have those guys for just a little bit over 15 combined. Oh my God. That is an absolute steal.
There are so many underpays.
Yes.
There's so many
underpays. Tage Thompson.
Tage is hugely underpaid. Nate McKinnon's hugely underpaid even still.
For a long time he was, yeah.
No, even now. I don't care. I don't care like that he'll be making just a hair above McDavid until McDavid gets his next contract.
McDavid's underpaid.
McDavid's underpaid right now.
McDavid's underpaid. Draisaitl. They signed Draisaitl right before he became like a league MVP caliber player. So
that was actually a smart move that Peter Chiarelli made.
Yeah, like the only one he made. He's making $8.5 million for like the next 4 years.
It's just like, whoa.
Are you kidding me? Jeff Skinner's making more than him. And I like Jeff Skinner, but Jeff Skinner makes $500,000 more against the cap than Leon Draisaitl does.
Austin scored 60 goals and he's making 11.6.
Yes.
He deserves way more.
Mitch
deserves so much more. Oh,
Willie's not even making 7.
No, I know. He's absolutely an 8-9 million player.
Oh my God, yeah. There's so many guys who are just so grossly underpaid. That I'm excited to see when they get their contract extension.
Oh yeah,
to get their money, but this is an example of a fantastic deal. I think this is.
I want to know where the league goes. I want to know where the league goes when the big cap explosion happens and we get to like 90 million.
Yeah.
I want to see where those contracts look like.
Here's the thing, though. We say like, oh man, when we get to that big expansion, like, oh, we're gonna see some great new contracts. When in reality, the only thing that's gonna happen is you're gonna see Eric and Branson make 5x5s instead of 4x4s.
Instead of 4x4s.
It's not paying your stars more; it's paying those role players more money. Someone's gonna give Miles Wood a 4x4, and they're gonna be like, "What the hell are we do this for?"
All I know is that when the big cap increase happens,
Yeah,
Austin, like guys like Austin and Connor, they're absolutely making the max that you can make per player. They're making the 20%.
yeah,
There's no doubt in my mind that they're making the absolute max that you can make.
and they will still be underpaid.
Yeah. I really hope this works out for Boldy though. Like,
Yes, I do.
Great
Absolutely.
great player.
Yep.
Okay. Now there he is. There he goes. Talking about our
There it is.
talking God, I love that chant so much. The first thing I want to touch on with the Canucks really quick though is rest in peace to Gino Ojic.
Mm-hmm.
He was obviously he was before our time.
Yes.
He was a part of the team's cup run in 94.
Yep.
He's a fan favorite. Not really like what you would consider your skilled left winger like a Pavel Bure.
Right. Still a very important player.
Very important role player for that team, right? Like I'm looking at his NHL totals here on HockeyDB. 605 games played.
Yep.
64 goals, 73 assists for 137 points.
Still a solid career. Played over 600 games in the NHL.
2,567 penalty minutes. What do you think he did?
Oh, man. Wow. I promise you those aren't all for slashing.
I'm just like looking at this. The most he had in 92, 93.
Yeah.
370. Holy crap.
How many games did he play?
In that season?
Yeah.
75.
Jesus Christ.
4 goals and 13
Did you
assists.
see he had 375 penalty minutes?
370 penalty minutes.
All right, 1 second.
He had 4 goals and 13 assists for 17 points that year. And then the next year,
average of 4.93333 repeating penalty minutes a night. That is literally a fighting major a night.
That's a fight per night.
That was literally like 73 of those games. He had a fighting major. That's basically what it is. He had a fight in 73 of those games, but the 2 that he didn't have a fight in, he had a minor penalty in each of those. Like that's literally what it is. He was 1 fighting major away from averaging a fighting major per game.
That was the season high, or no, that was the season before his season high in points, where he had the same amount of assists with 13. He quadrupled his goal total.
Yeah.
In 93-94 with 16.
Damn.
For 29 points.
16 goals, 13 assists from an enforcer. God, imagine that today.
That season, he only had 271 penalty minutes.
That's literally Garnet Hathaway.
That is Garnet Hathaway, isn't it?
It's Garnet Hathaway if he just fought a little bit more. A guy who's going to be hovering around 30 points, around 15 goals. God, value. There's a lot of value to a player like that. Rest in peace.
He was only 52.
Yeah, it's a shame. Very young.
Only my dad's age, man.
Yeah.
Oh, so sad. So how are we going to talk about this?
How are we going to talk about our second or third? Have we
Third
determined
favorite
if they're our
team?
second or third favorite team?
For the show? I don't know.
I feel like they're our second favorite. We have not talked about the Coyotes much lately. We talk about the Canucks constantly.
Well, I mean, part of it has to deal with what the hell's going on.
Well, yeah, but that is, frankly, the reason that we always talk about the Coyotes.
And first of all,
how are they out coyoteing the Coyotes?
First of all, I'm going to correct you. It's the Canucks.
That was so funny. That had no business being as funny as it was.
Fox 5 in DC. I wish we had more of a platform in order to just play the audio for these kinds of things.
Oh my God. just such a funny clip. Just oh my god, buy a vowel.
The Canucks, Boudreau, and Tukit.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to talk about the JR presser that happened well before this.
Yeah.
Because he calls out major surgery for this team.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what the hell are you? There's no direction.
They are paying $4.75 million to Bruce Boudreau and Travis Green this year.
They're paying 3 head coaches now.
Yes.
Jim Rutherford coming out saying this team needs major surgery.
Yeah, they do. Surgery's not cheap. I understand that. But I don't know.
Bo Horvat's on the trade block. He's going to go more than likely now. What does the thing that baffles me about the major surgery part of that quote is how's this going to convince Pettersson to stay? How's this going to convince Quinn to stay?
I don't disagree with Jim Rutherford that they need major surgery.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is he talks about it as if it's a procedure to one area where you go into the operating room, they tear you open, they fix the problem, they sew you back up,
and you're
you
done.
lay in bed for a little bit, and eventually you'll get back on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is right now is there's torn ligaments in the leg.
Yeah.
A torn hamstring.
A separated shoulder.
Kidney failure.
Concussion protocol.
I'm not sure this body's alive. Like, I'm just not. It's kind of where we're at with the Canucks. What an unbelievable turnaround this has been for the Canucks. I remember we had our conversation back in, I think, August about them, and we looked at this team like they were a playoff team, and I believed it. I liked the outlook of the team. I loved what they were doing with Bruce Boudreau specifically at the end of last season. I don't think it's unfair to say, as horrific of a season as this has been for the Columbus Blue Jackets, it is nowhere close to what this is for the Vancouver Canucks, because the Canucks had higher expectations. They're sucking on accident, and they are a PR nightmare.
The problem especially comes out of the PR, because you let go of Bruce Boudreau on Monday.
Yeah.
Huge, like just ripping the hearts out of your fan base.
Not only ripping the heart out of the fan base, it is also just an absolute slap to the face and the nuts of Canucks fans and to Bruce Boudreau.
Yeah.
Because he's known about this for weeks.
He was only there for 13 months.
Yes.
They planned to let him go October 8th.
Yeah.
And they kept him on the entire time. They just strung him along.
Yeah, they strung him along. They let him on. They waited till a specific date to do this. And yeah, I mean, it's literally like just it's kind of like coaching a team like that, knowing not only that they're gonna fire you, but when they're gonna do it. It's kind of like knowing when you're gonna die. It's kind of like being told, hey, you're gonna die on this specific date. Like, how are you supposed to live your life knowing that? And knowing that it's inevitable?
Here's a funny thing.
It's just miserable.
Here's a funny thing. Bruce Boudreau's first NHL goal.
Yes.
Back in the late 70s.
It was on Jim Rutherford.
It was scored on Jim Rutherford.
Yeah.
Oh, man. 46 years later.
Ha! I got the last laugh. Dick. Here's the thing.
I will say, like Bruce handled this shit like a champ.
He did. Oh my God. What a guy. Let me tell you. I mean, 100%. He should be in the list of coaches that this team considers hiring next year.
It's just the way that, like,
could you imagine how much cooking Line could do in his offense?
Oh, in a Boudreau offense?
Oh my God.
Excuse me, a Boudreau offense.
Yeah.
Go back. Okay.
I feel bad for Bruce, but
To get back to the Canucks here for a second.
I'm going to say this because I think it's very, very important that we acknowledge this because it's not.
He's a great coach.
He's a great coach. Fantastic
coach.
He's had an unbelievable.
There's another brain cell moment for us. There we go.
Yeah. We have blamed so much of this dysfunction in previous years on Jim Benning. And I think I remember at one point last year saying that we were wrong to do that.
It's Francesco Aquilini.
Yes.
It's Francesco.
You bring in a guy who has won 3 Stanley Cups in his career as an executive in this league. He brings on someone he knows from the Pittsburgh Penguins organization, and within less than a year, they're the same damn mess they were before. From signing JT Miller to that contract extension and it immediately backfiring.
Not working on Bo at all in the meantime.
Yes. The whole situation with Bo Horvat, to the treatment of Bruce Boudreau,
screwing him over,
the Rachel Dory thing.
They screwed over Bruce just as much as they screwed over Rachel.
It is.
And speaking of that, you remember when we talked about Rachel Dory?
Yes.
Bruce gave her props for it.
Yes. There is a very, very clear pecking order in the Vancouver Canucks organization. And amazingly, despite all their efforts to hire women and trying to include more diversity in their front office, they have somehow found a way to develop a boys club.
Rachel wrote Bruce a letter yesterday.
Yeah.
It's so sweet.
It is unbelievable how they were able to do that overnight. It took an absolute mess.
Have you read any of Thomas Stratz's tweets on this? Because he has been on fire with this.
Fantastic reporter. Unbelievable writer. He does a lot of great stuff. I've been a big fan of his for a while now.
So the problem that I have with just the absolute mistreatment of Bruce, which let me mention this really quick, the way Bruce handled it, getting emotional during his presser a couple of days before was just God. And then when he left and he was like, "See you tomorrow, I hope," got a laugh out of everybody. That was great. The gotcha A thing.
Yeah.
Oh
God, he went out the best way that you could go out. And I'm not even kidding when I say this. The way he went out might actually give him another shot in the NHL.
I would hope so. God, I would hope so.
You see a guy in a mess handle thing as well as he did. And not to mention, before all that, he's had a fantastic career as a coach.
Oh, yeah.
Track record. He's 68 years old.
Sure, no cups, but like, look at how many wins he's got. Look at the teams he coached.
It's hard to win cups. It's hard.
It's very hard to win a Stanley Cup.
He's had a lot of success in this league. A lot of regular season success. And to some organizations, that is important.
Yeah.
Organization like the Blue Jackets, that would be important. That's why I say he should be considered. Oh, no, he doesn't have a Stanley Cup. Well, guess what? Neither do we. So,
yeah.
We have something in common.
We can build that together.
Yeah. He's only 68. I know that, it's not the youngest age, but Does he have one more coaching job in him? I think he does.
I think he should.
And he should. He should. This should not be how his career ends. It can't be how his career ends. It just can't.
The management, like I said, they slapped the fans in the face. They think we're idiots because Alvin came out and tried to claim that they decided to fire Bruce yesterday.
Yeah.
So I said because this was such a under the table hire. We'll get to talk it in a minute. Excuse me, took it.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's getting lost on this is Rick Tocchet being hired.
Yeah. I fired Bruce, hired Tocchet, and he somehow got here for a 1 p.m. press conference. He's magic.
Not only that, it needs to be addressed, Jake.
And then I responded to that by saying JR does kind of look like Merlin from Shrek the Third, so I'd believe it.
Okay, let's just say, for example, I'm an idiot, and I believe him. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He made the decision to fire him and bring in Rick Tocchet.
Yeah.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Just a question.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Tocchet had to put in his 4-week notice.
From TNT, right?
Yes. How did he know to do that? Just wondering.
Huh. I think we might have an idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do want to read some of the Russo article.
Yes.
Because he had a talk with Bruce. One high-profile player came into Boudreau's office and was crying uncontrollably and audibly as he hugged him in front of assistants. On Sunday, Boudreau got a slew of texts from his players, including the most beautiful text from sometimes maligned JT Miller. So that tells you how much he meant to the players in that room. To have his group of his guys come in crying and giving like bear hugs and all of that.
You talk about this because it's shitty to the fans, it's shitty to him. This is shitty to the players.
Yeah.
Who clearly like this guy and who clearly understand that this isn't the coach's fault.
No. That's why he booked a flight home for Monday night with his wife of 28 years, Crystal, a week and a half ago. That tells you how long he's known about this. Right?
Yeah.
All these things were adding up that I felt this is going to be a storybook ending, but I guess we ripped out the last few pages, Boudreau said.
Yeah.
God, I just feel bad for Bruce. I want to cry now. Like, geez.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Just like, for a guy like Bruce Boudreau, he deserves so much more respect than that.
Yeah.
That was hardly respectful.
Zero respect.
There was nothing.
Absolutely none. And it's a shame. It really is. And, and I think it's important to note, we've talked about what a great guy Bruce is. And
the Bruce There It Is chant that he left.
Yeah.
His final Bruce There It Is chant that they exploded in the arena and he's saluting with like his hand on his chest like this.
Yeah.
Oh, what a send-off.
I want to make this very clear. Okay. We have talked about what a great guy Bruce is. And what a fantastic coach he is, and what a great career he's had.
And now we're going to transition into...
It needs to be addressed.
Rick Tocchet.
That this would still be unacceptable if this happened to Brad Larson or any other coach who has had nowhere near the success of a Bruce Boudreau, who maybe doesn't have the personality of a Bruce Boudreau. Or
not that we would expect anything from that between Yarmo and the McConnells.
Yeah.
We're not going to... No,
I'm just saying, like, this behavior is unacceptable no matter what, whether it's Bruce Boudreau or Dallas Eakins or anybody else in the league.
Yeah.
No matter how good of a coach you are, how wonderful, sweet,
wholesome of a person you are.
You don't under the
Just in
table
general unacceptable.
You don't under the table hire somebody like a month before you're going to fire your current coach. And then just leave that up in the ether for them to find out and linger on for weeks.
You don't start dating someone a month before you break up with your girlfriend.
No. And then your girlfriend...
That is quite literally what they did.
And then your girlfriend finds out 2 weeks before the actual breakup happens.
Yeah.
And starts passively aggressively like
being like, what the hell? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, like just talking to everybody else about it. Like,
think of it from that perspective.
I think that's a relatable. I think that's the best way to relate this.
I guess.
Yeah.
So now I want to talk about the hiring of Tocchet.
Mm-hmm.
One thing from the hockey side of things, which Tocchet was, his player profile was fine.
He's a fine coach.
Okay, coach.
I don't think he's bad.
Typical power forward as a player, right?
Yeah. But he had like his record isn't phenomenal, but considering the teams that
he had, yeah,
especially in Arizona, he had some pretty respectable years there as a head coach. Elliot
Friedman, that one of the reasons they brought in Tocchet was because of JT Miller. That was one of the things this was all about, no question. That was one of the things this was all about. That was on the Merrick show.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I would hope that that Tocchet can kind of have JT do things.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he's fine. Like we said, he's okay as a coach.
Yeah.
But the thing that bothers me is you go from a fairly wholesome coach, right?
Yeah.
Like Boudreau is somebody that everybody fans, management types, players, they all love the guy.
Right.
And then you look at Rick Tocchet and his personal history.
Right.
A guy that just deleted his Twitter like yesterday.
Why did he delete his Twitter? I didn't even know he was on Twitter.
Exactly. They say it was because of the TNT stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want TNT finding out about it or whatever. He's basically, I'll just say it. Basically, a lot of his political stuff got leaked and pervy, weird stuff. Like liking things from like supermodels and porn stars and shit. Like openly liked tweets.
Your likes are public, guys.
Yeah. So like, I don't know how, like, that's another, whole layer to that. As to why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I can think of is from the hockey side of things, Rutherford knowing Tocchet from his days as an assistant coach with Pittsburgh.
Right.
Right? Who knows if Rutherford knew or cared about that whole Twitter side of things.
I doubt that he's going to care about that whole thing.
Because he could be a part of that too. Who knows? He's a weird old man.
Yeah.
I don't want to speculate too much on that, but he is a weird old man. The thing with the Canucks, though, just as a team, is they are in such a drift.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't completely pulled the chute yet.
Yeah.
Right? And for the fans' perspective, like there are a lot of fans that want them to pull the chute, know that they can get a decent draft pick out of this draft because of how stacked this class is, right?
Right. Especially considering the fact that this Connor Bedard kid is from Vancouver.
Yeah, that's a nice little hometown touch, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
But Tocchet could screw that up, being a decent coach himself. Like, think about it. Tocchet starts winning them games,
Yeah.
right? Like, geez.
I don't think they're in a prime enough position to be able to tank. They're going to have to rely on a draft lottery. So I think that's kind of the perspective that they're having right now.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between 4% and 2%, like whatever?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's probably how they're looking at it. They care more about, trying to just salvage something from this season.
Well, they've also, like, what? Quinn and Petey were picks like 5 and 7
Yes.
in their respective
Patterson
drafts.
was 5th. I think you're right that Hughes was 7th. Horvat was 9th.
Yeah, so they haven't, like, in fairly recent memory, at least with a core like this,
Yeah.
they haven't even built it with like lottery win picks.
With like, top 3 or 4 picks,
Yeah.
I want to say Brock was 23rd overall.
Yeah. Brock was like a second rounder, if not a late first.
Who?
Brock. Yeah, wasn't he like a late first?
He was first.
Okay.
He was somewhere in like the early 20 range. Vasily Podkolzin was 10th overall.
Okay.
Niels Hoglander was a second round pick, I believe.
That's who I was thinking of. Nils. Yeah. Thatcher probably wasn't that high.
Pick, early second.
Okay.
So yeah, like it hasn't been, built through, oh, we got the second overall pick this year, the third overall pick, the first overall.
Right.
Pick.
They've never had like a prime pick like that.
Yeah. I think the highest pick that they've had, funny enough, was oh no, that was okay. So I was thinking that it was Hugh Levy, but he was 5th as well.
Okay.
But he was a bust. So
yeah. So who knows what they're gonna end up doing for the rest of the year? Like, we'll find out on what, Friday?
Yeah.
How that Clash of Titans is gonna go.
Oh, that is a Clash of Titans right
there. So just to wrap up the Canucks talk, it was really, really shitty.
It is.
How they handled the Bruce thing. How they handled everything with Bruce, bringing in the way they brought Tocchet in.
Yeah.
Just,
I'm hoping I'm wishing Tocchet the best of luck. He's gonna fucking need it.
Tying it back into Rachel, like, just treat your people better.
Yeah.
God.
There is a major front office culture issue with the Vancouver Canucks.
Huge front office issue.
Directly starts with ownership. And the most unfortunate thing is you can't fire owners.
No. But yeah, I really I hope Bruce the best. I know he's moving back home to his home in Hershey for right now.
Well, that's nice.
He could probably use some chocolate.
Yeah. Great place. Very fun place.
Them Bears.
Been to Hershey Park. I didn't realize this until I went there.
Yeah.
Hershey Park, like the amusement park, is directly next to the arena.
Is it?
Like I'm pretty sure they share a parking lot.
That's fun.
So you could go to a Hershey Bears game and then get off and ride a couple rides after if you wanted to. Like, I don't know. I thought it was really cool.
Go to an afternoon matinee and then just go over and have a couple.
It's cool. I love it there.
Fun.
I'd go back in a heartbeat. It is a cool place.
You could, like I said, you could probably use some chocolate over there too.
Yeah.
Being Hershey.
Yep.
Who would have thought? And yeah, absolutely, like the most respect and best of luck to Bruce Boudreau.
Absolutely.
In whatever he decides to do next. If he wants to, and I hope he coaches again.
Yeah.
I want him to get a coaching job like tomorrow.
Columbus.
Maybe.
Just saying.
I'd be down.
Be on the table.
I'd be down. I would absolutely be down for that.
Yep.
It's a lot better than what we're getting out of Lars right now. God. So I want to end this just real quick on a congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Whatever you did, you're welcome.
You said you just want to end on a congratulations.
I want to congratulate David Kreijci and the Boston Bruins for
He has
1,000.
played 1,000 more games than I have. Congratulations to him for that.
It's always fun when guys like this reach their 1,000-game milestone, right?
Especially because we weren't sure if he was going to do it, because we weren't sure if he was ever going to come back to the league or not. And fortunately for us as the viewers and for the Boston Bruins, he did come back, and he gets to have this incredibly special moment. Fantastic player who's had a wonderful career, and hopefully not only can he celebrate his 1,000th NHL game this year,
him and
but
Bergeron both.
Hopefully he can celebrate a second Stanley Cup by the end of this year.
Raise one more cup, yeah. That's kind of fun that him and Bergeron both got their 1,000th game in the same year.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
Because Bergie and Krejci are one of those dynamic duos we talked about earlier in the show, like a Gino and Sid, like a Backy and Ovi.
Yeah.
Right? Like those two just go together.
Yeah.
In anything they do.
Peanut butter and chocolate.
I do like what they've done this year. Like that's one of my favorite Boston things. What Monty's done, putting the checking line together.
Yeah.
With him and Zaka and Pasta.
Yeah, and it sounds like Boston's making some progress on an extension with Pastrnak. So hopefully they get that finalized soon, because
still blows my mind that Taylor Hall is a third liner for the Boston Bruins. Like
right?
What
a preposterous hockey team.
The wing depth on the left side is Marchand and Zaka and Hall and Foligno. Like that's a hell of a left wing depth.
Yeah. Foligno's absolute emergence, like re-emergence this season. It's awesome.
And we're not just talking about his emergence in the chirp game.
That
hot mic was the best.
So funny.
That hot mic was the best. And we were just like, oh, that's Fliggy.
Yeah.
And I tweeted it 6:14. I was like, hey, a new shirt.
I didn't even see it when it happened on Twitter or anything. I saw it in Dang It's.
Oh, is that when you first
saw it? Steve had have you seen it?
I did see that in Dang It's, yes.
He was just like,
his takeaway wasn't, oh man, I shouldn't do that. His takeaway is, well, if you're going to go ahead, I'm just going to do it harder next time.
Hey.
That's so funny.
That's Fliggy in a nutshell.
It is. I love him.
God, I miss Nick.
I'm so happy to see him doing well for Boston this year.
Oh, yeah.
And we listened to a very interesting interview. Kipper and Bourne had Jim Montgomery on their show about a week ago. And it was
I know we were talking about Krejci, but yeah.
Well, Bruins stuff.
Yeah.
What a fun story the Bruins have been this year, particularly, seeing Foligno reemerge, seeing
love it.
Pastrnak become this. I mean, he's already been a great player, but he's having a phenomenal season.
It's unbelievable goal.
He's going to become a $10+ million player.
Yes.
Seeing Bergeron come back and have another fantastic year, and then Bergie
and Krejci both turning back the clock like 10 years.
Linus Ullmark's going to win the Vezina.
The whole tandem, though, like him and Sway together, are just money.
But Jim Montgomery, right at the top of that list of unbelievable redemption stories.
Mitchell Miller happened. We're gonna forget that.
What?
No, Mitchell Miller. Yeah. So that's a little blemish.
You know what though?
It's weird because like in the scope of everything,
we're not looking at the front office perspective. We're just strictly looking at this team and how that team, when you think about the coach and just the locker room and the guys in it who are playing on the ice and how they responded to that they turned that into a positive.
Yeah, because they use that as reaffirmment
They
of this is not what we want in our locker room.
Patrice Bergeron, Brad Marchand, all those guys. And I
Nick,
want to say this about Brad Marchand real quick.
Nick was paramount in that
Nick
too.
Yeah. Brad Marchand, for all of his tactics and antics and some
being
of
a
the
rat,
shit that he does, he's a good dude. Off the ice, really good dude. And I think you can see it sometimes, just how him and Bergeron and Chara, when he was there, how they built that culture.
Yes.
What a phenomenal story they've been this year.
They've only lost 5 games, dude.
It's ridiculous.
They've played over 40 and they've only lost 5.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
They're gross. And it is going to be a major letdown if they don't win the cup this year. I think they're going to do it.
And I think Kreijci is going to be a big part of that.
Yep.
Congrats to David Kreijci on 1,000 games. Him and Bergie both doing it in the same year is amazing.
It's fantastic.
And yeah, I'm hoping for more from those Bruins. And who knows what Columbus is going to do on the rest of this Western Canada road trip. Can't wait for this clash of the Titans with the Canucks.
Oh, baby. Oh, dude. Revenge game. Erica Branson
Revenge game. Yeah.
Man. Oh. We get to see a hockey game that's going to include Tyler Myers and Erica Branson.
I want to see. Yes. I want to see.
About it.
That's actually going to be really fun. To see those two together, like going against each other. That's going to be fun. But yeah, we will see y'all on Saturday for now that we've caught up.
Yes, we will.
We'll see you this weekend.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Gehringer, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.